All right, let's dive into Studi Changle's incredible best-selling novel, You Only Live Once. This is a story that kicks off with a really deep question and then takes us on this amazing journey to find the answer through music, comedy, and a mystery that's been cold for 20 years, all set against the gorgeous backdrop of Goa. So the whole story really starts with this one big question. What on earth could a YouTube star, a wannabe comedian, and a guy who runs a quiet little beach shack possibly have in common? I mean, on the surface, their worlds are miles apart, but their lives are about to collide in a way none of them could ever see coming. And the answer, believe it or not, is a mystery that's 2 decades old. It's the disappearance of a famous singer named Alicia. When she vanished, it left this huge void that has, in its own quiet way, shaped the lives of our three main characters, pulling them all toward an answer they don't even know they're looking for. So, let's meet these three people, right? Each one is on their own personal journey, feeling a bit lost in their own way, but they're all, without even realizing it, connected by this one single quest. First up, there's Alara. Now, to the rest of the world, she's a big shot YouTube star living in Prague. But behind that success, she feels like something is missing, like she's not whole. The mystery of her mother's disappearance has always haunted her, and her trip to Goa is about so much more than finding Alicia. It's really about finding herself. And this quote from her just says it all, doesn't it? She is so done with living in the shadow of this mystery, done with trying to be what other people expect. Her journey is all about finding out who she really is. Okay, next up is Arav. And man, this guy is feeling the pressure. He's on this path that everyone else, especially his family, has picked for him. He's an engineering student. But what he really wants to do is stand-up comedy. So for him, Goa is his escape, his chance to finally be the person he wants to be. This line from him is so powerful. It shows how a really painful breakup, of all things, becomes the thing that pushes him to stop running. He starts to channel all that hurt into his comedy, and in doing that, he gets closer to who he's meant to be. And rounding out our trio is Ricky. He's kind of the wise old soul of the story. He runs this beach shack in Goa that's become a bit of a haven for lost souls. But he's got his own ghosts, too. See, Elisha, she was his first love, and her memory is still very much a part of his life. Ricky's got this amazing way of looking at life. He compares it to a Long Island iced tea. You know, it's a mix of all kinds of things, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad. And his whole philosophy is that you can't just pick the parts you like. To really live, you've got to drink the whole thing.
Okay, so you've got these three totally different people, each dealing with their own stuff, their own sense of loss. What happens next? Well, all roads lead to Goa, where their broken paths are finally going to meet.
And Ricky's little beach shack, it becomes so much more than just a place to hang out. It turns into this sanctuary, where Alara's music finally gets a stage, where Arav's honest comedy finds an audience, and where they both find a mentor in Ricky. They basically form this little unlikely family, a safe space to be vulnerable and start to heal. But you know, as they're all getting closer and building this little community, Alara's search for her mom starts to get really serious. And the truth she's about to find, well, it's more complicated and way more painful than she could ever have guessed. With her new friends behind her, she just goes all in. She's digging through old letters, photos, anything she can find. She is desperate for that closure she's been missing her entire life. But here's the thing. The answer she's looking for, it's not what you'd expect. This whole mystery isn't going to end with some big, happy reunion. It ends with a discovery that changes absolutely everything. It all comes down to a letter, her mom's final words left behind. And it's right there, in that letter, that the real story of what happened to Alicia finally comes to light. And what she finds in that letter is just heartbreaking. Her mom didn't just run away. She'd been fighting this silent, lonely battle with depression, a battle that tragically ended with her taking her own life. And that discovery just shatters Alara's world. And this is really the core of the whole story, you know? It's that moment of hitting rock bottom that actually starts the healing process. It's only by facing that incredible pain that they can begin to heal, by being vulnerable, leaning on each other, and figuring out how to turn all that grief into something new. So finding this out, it could have broken them, but it doesn't. In fact, it's the opposite. It becomes a major turning point, the moment they stop letting their pasts define them and start writing their own stories.
And you really see this incredible change in all of them. Alara isn't just looking for her mom's story anymore. She's finishing it by singing her unreleased songs. Arav stops using jokes to hide and starts using his comedy to be real and vulnerable. And Ricky? He finally picks up his drumsticks again, healing himself by helping others.
And it all leads to this one perfect moment on New Year's Eve. The three of them, up on stage together at the Shack, their performance isn't just music and comedy. It's a symbol of their whole journey, from broken pieces to becoming whole again, together. I think this quote just sums up the whole feeling of the book perfectly. It's not about pretending the bad stuff didn't happen. It's about accepting it and choosing to build something beautiful and new from what's left. And that brings us right back to that question in the title. It's not just for the characters, it's for us too. You know, if you really only live once, what are you going to do with it?